This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNN Live. We're coming to you from the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium in Vancouver, 2014. With me is Mr. Brent Cook, a familiar face, Exploration Insights newsletter, featured speaker. Brent, welcome back to SNN Live.
Glad to be here again.
It's good to have you. Okay, this is a very unique conference. It seems like, by invitation only, some of the really good mining and resource companies. What's your take on this conference?
I'm impressed. It's a quality conference, quality companies, as you say, handpicked for the most part. And the attendees, I've gotten to speak to a lot of the attendees, very interesting group. They know the sector. They seem to recognize that we're bouncing along bottom, and that this is when you get into this sector. So it's a good show.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost crowded, if you know what I mean. It was tough to get a seat in the main general hall, and when they have a break, you can't even get past some of the. And it's a long show. It's not like it hasn't. Attendance has not diminished much.
No, I mean I was surprised. Even my session was full.
Your session? Kidding me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about you for a minute. What's your opinion of the resource market at this point? And let's get an overview on what your thinking is.
Well, I don't think all's better. I mean, a lot of the folks I've heard are thinking the bottom's in and everything's start going up. I think we bounced along bottom for a while now. The fundamental issues or problems that the industry had have not really been solved, that being making money. Profits still aren't really there for most of the mining companies, particularly the gold companies. And until that gets solved, I don't see a lot of large institutional investors come into this. But what I do see happening is that the realization that we're not finding enough new deposits, economic deposits, to replace what we're mining is going to hit next year and the year after. And these small companies that are here that actually have something are going to be extremely good. Look, you know, in retrospect, going to be really good purchases around now.
So what I find interesting, and from the outside looking in, because you know we're obviously a financial news company, when we come to a conference like this, and I meet the companies that are at this conference, I'm seeing quality. I mean, I'm meeting quality CEOs, and I'm going like, wow, that's interesting. Each one of the company stories seems to be so valid.
Yeah, no, this is a good group of companies, and you've got, you know, people make fun of this industry a lot, you know, a bunch of miners and liars, but in reality, there's a lot of good people in this sector doing really good work, and all you've got to do is find them.
What did you speak on at this conference?
Basically the dearth of new discoveries and what that means going forward and why that is. I mean, it's part of how the industry is structured, and a lot of it has to do with just geology, how the earth evolves, and why it is so unique when all the conditions come together to form an economic metal deposit. I mean, there's geochemical anomalies all over the world. That's what nature does, right? That's how the earth evolves. But when everything comes together to form an economic deposit that's not sitting in Kazakhstan or Venezuela or under a town or under a church or under, you know, it goes on and on and on. It's pretty unique.
So what do you think was the kind of like the top of the heap of this conference? Which company, 2 or 3?
Wow. I had a good meeting with Mirasol Resources, active in Chile. I like that one. I think Pilot Gold is on some interesting projects in Turkey and Nevada. And I'm researching a few others.
I bet. No, I mean, look, you have a newsletter, you're followed, people really trust your guidance. In your opinion, and tell our audience, why is your newsletter read as much as it is, and why are you so trusted in this business?
Well, I hope I am. I think the reason is that I'm a geologist. I've been doing this forever. I'm an economic geologist. I love the business. And my letter's about what I'm doing with my money in this sector. Nobody pays me to say anything. I have been offered to not say things a few times.
By the way, including me, I never pay him to say anything either.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. But I think that's it. It's just it's a technical letter based on what I'm actually doing with my money in this sector. And given it's a risky sector, I'm extremely cautious because I really hate losing money.
Well, you must be a very special person in this industry to become a part of the Sprott and Rick Rule's conference. What do you have to say about those folks?
when I came, I was a a consultant to major mining companies all over the world, and then bumped into Rick, and I became his analyst. I was his analyst for about 6 years, starting in 1997. And you got time for a story?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, hold on. How long?
Not that long.
Okay, because
Not one of yours.
that's below the belt,
Basically, what Rick said, he gave me a very minimal salary, but a loan of $200,000 that I could spend any way I wanted, and the profit I got from that after a bit of interest was mine to keep. So coming into this, I thought, oh, this is easy. I'm going to get rich. Within a year and a half, I was 90 grand in the hole. That was my lesson. Mm-hmm. That's how I learned more about how to actually invest in this sector as opposed to just bet on the rocks only. So that's a good story about Rick, and he does a fantastic job.
Yes, but I thought indentured slavery had ended.
Yeah, well, I left.
And of course, Eric Sprott is, just the elephant in the room.
Oh, definitely. He's a very intelligent fella.
Yeah, I've interviewed him, and I struggled to be able to understand 90% of what he was saying. So, what do you think of this conference? Pretty good.
Good show. Good show. I hope they do it again next year.
So, in terms of the market, let's see if I can get you to give us a little bit of a forecast.
Mm-hmm. I think the resource sector in general, the junior sector, bounces along bottom for quite some time still. I think we're going to see these 20, 30% rises back off again and again, but there will be a slight uptrend. I don't see things getting much better until next year or the year after, but I'm just guessing.
So, Brent, for our audience, let's get some information about what they can read on your website. What's the URL?
My website is explorationinsights.com, or you can Google me, Brent Cook. I show up pretty often. There's a lot of free information there, reports I've written, insights into the business, that sort of thing. So go to the site, make yourself at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brent Cook, Exploration Insights, newsletter writer, speaker, raconteur. I'm Shelley Craft. This is SNN Live. We're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium 2014. It's great to see you. Great to have you. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Shelley.
You got it, bud.